Today we will talk about wind and water. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Genesis 1:2. This verse starts to create patterns or prototypes that are developed and carried out through the entire Bible. I believe this is a primary function of the creation story. It is to lay the foundation of principles and types that will be used to tell the story of our world and why it exists. While it may seem like a trivial piece of information for everyday living, that would be an error. Everything in our minds is built one upon another. If these thoughts are not correct, the result is a wrong view of who we are, why we exist, and that leads to a failed life. This is why a new life starts at the beginning. In this verse, we find prototypes of wind and water. The Hebrew word for spirit here is pronounced ruach. The word means breath or wind. It is translated either way. So the verse could be read, and God breathed upon the face of the waters. So the moving of the wind becomes an image of the moving of the spiritual world. If you've ever seen a scary movie, you have seen where the wind stirs up or a curtain in the room moves. This imagery is used because wind and spirit is ingrained in our imagination. In the New Testament, the Greek word for spirit is pneuma. It is where we get the words pneumatics, which means the mechanical properties of air. There are many examples of wind as a spiritual force. If the wind represents the spiritual world, then the water represents the physical world. The reason for this is because water can be moved easily by the wind. The wind can play upon the water and create vivid pictures. When the wind is calm, then the sea is calm. And when the wind is roaring, the seas are raging. That is so amazing because when we are armed with this knowledge, many passages come to life. Let's look at a few. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. Exodus 14:21. Any intelligent person would read this and think, if the wind were mighty enough to divide the sea so that the walls went up like water on either side, then it would be powerful enough to blow the people into the next country. One would also realize that water would not stand up as walls by wind coming from one direction. So if the story sounds unbelievable, it's because one has not seen the picture. God causes the sea to move by the ruach. To the Israelites, all they could feel was the wind. And that was a sign that there was something spiritual going on. How the sea was divided is a deep secret of God. We need to understand that the spiritual world is at work in the physical world. If one reads the Hebrew text, the connection becomes clear. The ruach of God moves upon the face of the waters, Genesis 1:2. The sea go back by a strong east ruach, Exodus 14:21. So there are many examples of this motif being brought to our attention in the scriptures. And here are a few examples. But thou rulest the raging of the sea. When the waves thereof arise, thou stillest them. Psalms 89:9. But the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up dirt and mire. Isaiah 57:20. Probably one of the most profound examples of wind and water being types of the spiritual world and the physical world is in John chapter 3. Jesus answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. That which is born of flesh is flesh, and that which is born of spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I said unto thee, Ye must be born again. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is every one that is born of the Spirit. John 3, 5-8. As you read the Bible, look for the wind as a picture of the spiritual world. Look for the sea as a physical world. And look for both the wind and the water together. This little piece of knowledge will help you gain greater understanding of the Bible. That means you'll have more confidence in the Bible, your faith will increase, and your life will change. It is a process of starting a new life in Christ. So I hope you found this interesting. There is so much more to share from this wonderful creation story found in Genesis of the Bible. So I hope that you would continue watching with me. Please subscribe to my channel so you'll know when the next one comes out. There's also a notification bell that allows you to be notified when I release a new one. I would also appreciate it if you like it, comment on it, and share it. But have a great day, and thank you for joining me. I hope to see you next time. Bye.